Microsoft deployed more than $70 billion to consolidate the world's largest gaming franchises. Today, that investment is being met with millions of lost subscribers and a wave of studio closures. Longtime gaming chief Phil Spencer, the architect of this expansion, has exited the company, leaving behind the wreckage of a 2026 operational crisis. The new CEO, Asha Sharma, stepped into a bleeding division. She is now executing an emergency corporate pivot to address a business model that is failing to sustain itself. This raises a difficult question for the industry's largest spender. How did the company with the deepest pockets in entertainment history end up dismantling the very studios it purchased? Having infinite capital cannot fix an ecosystem built on a broken economic foundation. In 2001, Microsoft launched the original Xbox as a Trojan horse. The goal was to secure the living room for a version of the Windows ecosystem before any competitor could dominate the space. At the time, their primary target was Sony, whose PlayStation 2 was rapidly becoming the centerpiece of home entertainment. While the Xbox 360 found success, Microsoft lost the hardware console war to Sony in the generations that followed. This defeat triggered a strategic pivot to Xbox Game Pass. It was a bid to become the Netflix of gaming, where winning the hardware war was supposedly no longer relevant. This pivot tied the brand's entire future to a high-stakes subscription model. Abandoning the hardware battle created a demand for constant, high-budget content that their revenue could no longer reliably support. To make the subscription mandatory for gamers, Xbox needed to control the market's premium titles. In March 2021, Microsoft acquired ZeniMax Media and its 8 studios for $7.5 billion. Then, in October 2023, they purchased Activision Blizzard King for $75.4 billion. This strategy funneled massive franchises into Game Pass to force aggressive subscriber growth. Microsoft was absorbing massive, established corporate entities with thousands of employees and decades of history. This acquisition spree artificially inflated the content pipeline. When the subscriber math failed to balance the billions spent on the roll-up, the ecosystem began to collapse. The model faced a primary conflict: the high cost of modern game development versus the low revenue of a flat monthly fee. A $15 monthly fee cannot cover the $200 million budgets required for modern flagship titles. Furthermore, Microsoft's corporate parent demands a 30% profit margin, but the gaming division was operating on just a 3% margin. In late 2025, Xbox tried to bridge the gap by raising the Game Pass Ultimate price by 50% to $30 a month. The community reacted to the increase by labeling it a loyalty tax, sparking an immediate backlash. Chief Strategy Officer Matthew Ball later revealed the impact. The service shed millions of subscribers over the span of a few months. Digital ecosystems lack the permanence of physical retail. Without the anchor of a physical library, players can abandon a subscription the moment the price increases. At the same time, hardware sales plummeted. Xbox Series console sales dropped 51%. Arcane Austin's closed in the same wave. The studio had been directed away from its creative strengths to chase a live service model that the team was never equipped to build. These closures signaled a broader restructuring in June 2026, threatening remaining mid-tier studios like Ninja Theory and Double Fine Productions. In a massive subscription model, small creative victories are mathematically irrelevant if they do not move the billion-dollar subscriber needle. In April 2026, slashing the Game Pass Ultimate price back to $23 and removing Call of Duty from Day 1 access. This move marks the end of the all-inclusive subscription dream. Xbox is now attempting to balance its identity between a console manufacturer and a software licensor. The autopsy of the brand reveals a core tension. Infinite capital cannot replace the organic growth of a gaming ecosystem. While the subscription strategy failed internally, the massive acquisitions forced competitors like Sony to alter their own business models to stay competitive. Even with the console war lost, Xbox's aggressive spending forced a shift in how every major publisher values their library. The industry's business models have been rewritten by the very failure of the Game Pass stream.